Hey YouTube, PD Chris here. Today I'm going to talk about a couple of things. The main one being this circa 1961 Climber Small. And it's got a interesting story. But first we'll start with the Climber Small is the 84mm version of the Climber, obviously. This one has a couple of features that make it pretty easy to date, specifically to right around 1961. First of all, well, the bail tells you it's before 1968. That's generally when they phased out the bails and switched strictly to key rings. The second thing is the exposed awl here. They stopped doing that, I believe, in 1960 or 61, right around that time. And then third is the hidden rivet scales, which stopped around 1960 and 61. So basically, by having this is the last year you could have possibly had this all, and the first year you could possibly have these scales without the rivets showing all the way through. So that's what gives you a pretty specific date. It could be there might be a little wiggle room, but it's right in that area right there. So, got the opening layer. This one does have the Swiss pat, which can openers from 1951 to 1971 will have that mark on them. That's just the Swiss patent mark. The bottle opener / screwdriver has a sharpened interior edge for stripping cables, along with the small wire stripping notch. .84mm scissors are fantastic. This one has a single leaf spring, and it's actually a chromed leaf spring, not just a black leaf spring. That's rather unusual. Later they just switched to plain. I don't see this with the chrome single leaf very often. But it's definitely the original spring. Has a small clip blade, as would be expected. This one's got a little warp on the edge, but the thing's still razor sharp. And then finally, we've got this big blade with a cool etching on it of Abercrombie and Fitch, made in Switzerland. Now, most people will think, what's so cool about Abercrombie and Fitch? They're like some dork store. They're terrible, right? Well, no. Well, they are now. A pretty terrible store. But they have a really cool history in that they were a sporting goods store prior to being just a clothing store. And they sold to several big Arctic and African expeditions, such as Teddy Roosevelt, Admiral Richard Byrd, Ernest Hemingway was a customer of theirs. But they were basically the forerunner to Cabela's. They had huge stores in like Beverly Hills and New York City that had all kinds of taxidermy of exotic wildlife throughout the whole place. They had an in-house watch repair shop, in-house firearms repair, all that good stuff. You know, they would sharpen your knife while you wait, and they sold a variety of, you know, high-end sporting goods. They were basically the luxury version of Bass Pro Shops or Cabela's or something like that. Kind of like LL Bean, you know. But they were founded in 1892 by David Abercrombie, and later he partnered up with Ezra Fitch in 1904. That's when it became Abercrombie and Fitch. And by 1939, they were known as the greatest sporting goods store in the world. They even sold their own convertible automobile at one point. They had a few of them in store to purchase, like very limited edition, one-of-a-kind stuff. So seeing Abercrombie and Fitch on something today usually means it's a piece of clothing you overpaid for, and seeing it on something from the past means it came from a pretty badass sporting goods store. So that's why I like the Abercrombie and Fitch stamp. I just missed out on a Wenger on eBay the other day that had a Abercrombie and Fitch stamp. I would have loved to have got that, but the price just got out of hand. I couldn't deal with it. But here's another cool thing about these knives. This is a much darker red than later knives. You can actually see from this one, which is obviously early 60s, to this one that's mid 60s, there is a slight difference in the color. And then from this one to a 70s model, it gets even lighter. And here's another 70s model, so you can see that those two are consistent with each other. But this one, they just get, these is like the 3 stages of lightness. And then the Victorinox ones had some that were even more orangish. Yeah, they're considered very orangish. I should have grabbed one, but I didn't. But anyway, this climber small, you know, the next thing up from it would be a 4-layer, like the small Huntsman or an Artisan. I really want an Artisan. I just haven't found one yet. And I've even got a 5-layer coming up shortly, as soon as it comes back from Victorinox. But so that's something to look forward to. Anyway, thanks for watching. Just figured I'd upload 2 videos today because I have nothing better to do. It's cold outside and I don't feel like doing anything. So anyway, take care and I'll see you in the next one. PD Grizz out.